This is ShadowQuant, Crypto Edition, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Wednesday, May 13, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with the recap. Pulse, you called Bitcoin bearish. Your target was 79,500. The actual price was 80,280. That's a 780-point miss, but you got the direction right.
I'm not satisfied. The price didn't hit the target, but the sentiment shift was key. I'll focus more on the divergence between price and social media buzz.
Grid, you had Bitcoin bearish, target 78,500. Actual was 80,280. A 1,780-point miss, but you called the direction.
I'll adjust my approach. The $80,280 level is now a key resistance. I'll monitor it more closely.
CIPHER, you were bullish on Bitcoin with a target of 83,000. That was off by over 2,000.
I misread the institutional flow data. I'll double-check the futures data before making calls.
SPECTER, you called Bitcoin bearish, target 78,000. Actual was 80,280. A 2,280-point miss, but the direction was right.
I'll focus more on the correlation with equities. The crypto and equity markets are diverging, which I didn't fully account for.
AVAX, you called Bitcoin bearish at 78,500. Actual was 80,280. A 1,780-point miss, but the direction was right.
I'll refine my macro context integration. The Fed's stance and equity market movements are more intertwined than I thought.
Let's dive into the market. Bitcoin is at $80,280, down 0.56%, as the Fear and Greed Index hits 14 over 100 extreme fear. Dogecoin's 2.95% rally is fueled by retail sentiment, despite Bitcoin's underperformance. The VIX is at 18.38, up 1.19 from the prior session, suggesting volatility remains high. SPY is at $430.12, down 0.32%, with key levels at 430 resistance and 428 support. Let's start with the headlines. Iranian crypto outflows spike 700% after U.S.-Israeli airstrikes. That's a major geopolitical risk. Another headline, the U.S. Senate housing bill includes a CBDC ban that could limit central bank digital currency expansion. PayPay, 40% owned by Binance Japan, is aiming for $1.10 billion IPO on Nasdaq. That's a big deal for institutional investors.
The CBDC ban is a major headwind for crypto adoption in the U.S. if the Senate blocks it. It could slow down institutional interest. But the PayPay IPO is a sign of confidence in crypto's future.
The Iranian outflows are a red flag, but the CBDC ban could be a double-edged sword. It protects retail investors, but may stifle innovation.
CIPHER, what's your take on the macro context?
The CBDC ban could slow down the momentum of tokenized assets, but the PayPay IPO is a green light for crypto-native investors. The VIX is still elevated, which means volatility is in the air.
Let's talk about Bitcoin. It's at $80,280, down 0.56%.
The $80,280 level is now a key resistance. If it fails to hold, it could drop to $79,000. But I'm watching the 430 level on SPY. If that breaks, it could trigger a broader sell-off.
Bitcoin futures demand is at 2024 lows, which suggests institutional investors are pulling back. But the 24-hour volume is still at $101.78 billion, which is down 12.3% from the 7-day average. That's a sign of weak momentum.
The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, but Reddit sentiment is up 12% over 7 days. That's a disconnect. Retail is still bullish, but institutions are retreating.
I'm not buying it. The VIX is up and Bitcoin is under pressure. If it breaks below $79,000, that's a 5-7% pullback. I'll be watching the $78,500 level closely.
AVAX, what's your take?
Grid resistance level and CIPHER futures data both point to a bearish bias. But Pulse is highlighting the retail sentiment, which is a key indicator. I'll tie it together. Bitcoin is in a technical and sentiment tug-of-war.
Dogecoin is up 2.95% at $0.11.
Retail momentum is driving this rally. The sentiment on Reddit is up 12%, which is a key driver. But I'm wary the price action is not supported by fundamentals.
The $0.11 level is a key support. If it holds, the rally could continue, but if it breaks, the price could retest the $0.10 level.
The on-chain data shows increased retail activity, but I'm not seeing strong institutional interest. The decentralized finance TVL is still under pressure, which is a red flag.
I'm not buying this. The rally is fueled by fear of missing out, not real value. If the broader market turns, Dogecoin will be the first to fall. I'll be watching for a break below $0.10.
AVAX, what's your take?
Grid technical read and Pulse sentiment data both point to a short-term rally. But CIPHER and SPECTER are warning of overbought conditions. It's a classic retail vs. institutional battle.
Ethereum is at $2,285.59, up 0.1%.
The $2,257.72 level is a key support. If it holds, Ethereum could rally to $2,300. But I'm watching the $2,280 level. If it breaks, the price could drop to $2,200.
Ethereum's on-chain activity is stable, but the decentralized finance TVL is still under pressure. The price is in a consolidation phase, which means it's waiting for a catalyst.
The sentiment is neutral. Retail investors are holding, but not buying aggressively. The price is in a range, which is typical for a sideways market.
I'm not impressed. The price is not moving and the volume is low. If it breaks above $2,300, I'll take that as a sign of strength. Otherwise, it's just a range trade.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on Ethereum. Let's dig into that.
Grid thinks Ethereum is in a consolidation phase, but I'm not sure. The volume is low, which suggests weak interest. If the price can't break above $2,300, it's just a range trade.
I agree the volume is low, but the support at $2,257.72 is still holding. That's a sign of strength. I'll wait for a breakout.
The decentralized finance TVL is still under pressure, which means the ecosystem is not seeing much growth. The price is just bouncing in a range.
My 24-hour call. Dogecoin bearish. Target $0.11 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $79,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Ethereum neutral, target $2,280 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $78,500 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Dogecoin bearish, target $0.10 by next session.
To recap, Bitcoin is in a bearish phase, but Dogecoin is seeing retail-driven momentum. Ethereum is consolidating, and the broader market is in a risk-off mode. What to watch tomorrow? Bitcoin's $79,000 level and the VIX. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Crypto Edition. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.